The Wrangler National Finals Rodeo of today has a storied past, rich with tradition. The Super Bowl of Rodeo began in 1959 in Dallas, Texas, with just $50,000 in prize money. In 1962, the rodeo moved to Los Angeles, and the Wrangler NFR lit the West Coast on fire before heading to Oklahoma City in 1965, where it resided for 20 years. Finally, the bright lights in Big City came calling, and in 1985, it was Las Vegas bound. Over the last 31 years, the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo has become the biggest ticket in December. When it comes to the Wrangler NFR, every contestant is sure to bring their A-game, trying to grab a piece of that $10 million payout. Welcome to the historic Fort Worth Stockyards and Cowtown Coliseum. I'm Suzanne Alexander, and this hour we are taking a look at the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. We've done things a little bit different this time around. We have gathered our entire broadcast team of Joe Beaver, Donnie Gay, Butch Knowles, and Jeff Metters to discuss each event and to catch up with some of the front-runners, competitors who have a shot at the world title. We start with bareback rider Jake Brown making his second trip to Las Vegas. And when it comes to riding broncs, we go to our own Butch Knowles, a 1987 NFR average champion in saddle bronc riding. Butch talks to Jake about what it took to get here.
Well, Jake Brown, I got to start with you, and let's start, not last year, let's start the year before, because in my business, you came out of nowhere. In 2014, you were 65th, I think, in the world standings. Last year, you went into the Wrangler National Finals for the first time, third in the world. How'd that happen?
Yes, sir. Last year, I dedicated myself to it. You know, as well as anybody, when you want to be to the top, you've got to give it everything. And for so many years, I just gave it 50% rather than 100%. And it showed last year when I dedicated my time and work into it that I made the NFR and had a good year.
You got to Vegas, you want to go around, placed in 2 rounds, but you only managed to ride 4 horses. What went on down there? Were you surprised? Was it different?
It was a little different.
Starstruck?
Just more or less starstruck, yes, sir. Yeah. I just fell apart once I got there. Heck, I even got on 11 and still only rode 4.
That is right, yeah.
Most people don't know that, but I'll be honest and tell you.
I didn't want to bring that up.
And, but you know, you just live and learn. It happened, there ain't nothing I can do about it now except don't let it happen again this year. And I'm more excited, more ready, more, you know, calm going into this year's finals. You know, I'm not going to let the lights get to me or anything. I know what I got to do. It's no different than riding a horse at every other rodeo.
Tell me about the thumb surgery.
Yes, sir. I tore a ligament right here in my thumb, and it just kept getting worse and worse where I couldn't even pick up a cup or anything. It just had to be fixed to be able to ride in the future. You know, maybe not at that point in time, but in the future of my bareback riding career, I needed to get it taken care of.
And when I heard you were going to all of a sudden stop and have surgery on your thumb, and that means sitting out for 3-4 months of the rodeo season, it almost says, okay, I'm going to maybe not try to win the world this year, protect my career, see what happens, and then get healed up and come back later in the season. Is that kind of the approach?
I got to where I thought I had enough money to make the finals, and then I knew I'd come back in the last couple of weeks, and it worked out good to where I still made the finals. And it's almost clean slate once you get out there. You know, all of us are going to ride hard, and it's going to be good competition.
Well, Jake Brown, I wish you all the luck, and I know it's going to be a way different NFR when you get to Vegas this year.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll roundtable and break down every event at this year's Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. We have the analysis team for this year's coverage. You have Joe Beaver, an 8-time world champion on the timed event side of things. Don Gay, 8-time world champion bull rider. And Butch Knowles, average winner in saddle bronc riding at the Wrangler NFR. And for the 28th time, he'll be the lead analyst. And you spent some time with Jake Brown. He was setting the world on fire early in the season. He was #1. Then he gets hurt. Can he get back to that form by round 1?
Well, you know, I really enjoyed talking with Jake, and the big deal is he thinks he can, and I do too. When you look at the money that's involved now at the Wrangler National Finals, $28,000 go-arounds, $70,000 averages, absolutely he's going to be a player. And the other thing I really liked is when Jake came back off that surgery, because I questioned him having the surgery. He was riding good, everything looked good, but I think it got to the point he had to. when he came back off that, he looks 100%. He won Albuquerque, he won some big rodeos. Jake Brown's going to be a player. It's going to be fun to watch him this year.
You know, to put it in poker terms, you touched on the money. If you have a chip in a chair, you have a chance to win. If you're 15th, you can win the world. But Tim O'Connell comes in number 1. Why do you like him?
Because he rode good all year long, but it depends on how you draw. If you draw horses that fit you, everything's going to buck to some degree, but whether he's a 19 and a half point or a 22 and a half point, depends on which fits your style. If you like big horses like Full Baggage or those kind of horses, Tim O'Connell has ridden all of them consistently good all year long, but I'm personally pulling for Win Ratliff. I think
that's my guy. That's my guy.
He's all cowboy. I mean, win first, Ratliff. That's part of it. He's a good friend of mine, but at the finish this fall, man, riding great, got fast feet. He can take a weaker horse and I think placing the money. So he's going to be a player, I think, in the average, but all depends on health because in the bareback riding, it is attrition going on there now.
Walking wounded by round 10. Why is Win your guy?
Win's my guy for 2 reasons. I think he's built to last out there, and Donnie hit on it. If you're hurt halfway through there in the bareback riding, you get no relief. It doesn't matter if you're 90 points, you know, you're going to be hurt. I think Win is in a good place in the fall. I've watched him ride. He's been riding good. A name like Win First, you can't win 6th. It's maybe his time to come from behind, step up. If he draws good, I think he's got to have horses that fit him. I don't think he can ride some of the horses as good as other people, but Win's my man.
All right, give me some wild cards. You got a Frenchman in Evan Jane. You got Orrin Larson, a tough Canadian.
Yeah, but I mean, Caleb Bennett.
Yeah,
Tanner Oss.
that's my guy. I've been banging Caleb Bennett's drum
been
all
on
year
him
long.
also, all
Since he
over the
rode
rodeos,
Virgil
yeah.
at Rapid City at the Wranglers Champion Challenge, and he is on his game.
If they're getting a hope with their feet, they're healthy, they got a chance to be there in round 10. But 28,000 a night, man, get after it.
Well, when it comes to steer wrestling, no one can be quite sure how it'll all end up. It takes one round at the Wrangler NFR for the standings to change. Coming up, our own Joe Beaver catches up with first-time NFR qualifier Jason Thomas.